Hi, this is Mr. Abbey coming at you from the Academy of Science and Citizenship once again with a different science assistant today, Mr. Darwin. I don't think he's going to be a lot of help, but he's here, right? Awesome. He's my boy. All right, so what we're going to do today, since we talked a little bit about microscopes last week and we got a nice long week again, I'm going to have you guys write me some notes once again. Um, Today we're going to talk a little bit about, instead of my laser microscope, which I didn't invent. I'm not sure who actually made that idea up, but I got it from a SciShow video a long time ago. Today we're going to talk about a more traditional microscope that some of you guys might have around the house, some of you might not. We're going to look at some different things under a microscope, and we're going to see how things look different when you zoom them right up, kind of like when we zoomed up that aquarium water, how we could see some little things in there. Most of these microscopes, like you might have at home, probably can't see things as small as bacteria or algae like we saw last time. These are probably going to show you more stuff like the ridges on your fingers or the grains of wood, show you little parts on an insect. Like these are really good for that kind of thing, but they probably most of the time don't zoom up to the point where you can see microscopic things. So right here, we've got your basic microscope setup. This is called an optical microscope. So as we learned with Miss Catrone when we were doing listening and learning, these were invented by the Jansen brother and father, the Jansens. Really cool inventions. So you've got a whole bunch of the basic microscope has a whole bunch of parts. The typical microscope is going to have your eyepiece. It's where you put your eye to look down into it. You've got your lenses. Usually you've got a little slider here that can change different kinds of lens. So here I've got a 150 times zoom. So that's actually when you look through that microscope, it is magnifying whatever you're looking at. It's making it 150 times bigger. It's making it look 150 times bigger. I've got 450 times magnification. That's actually that one. And then I've got 900 times magnification. Now you'll notice here that as I turn it, each lens is a lot longer. Your smallest magnification is the smallest lens, and your biggest one is the longest one. So you've got your eyepiece, you've got your different lenses. This is your focus adjuster, little turny knob right here. Right here you've got your stage. That's where you're going to put whatever you're looking at under the microscope. This is the arm that kind of holds this all together so that when you turn the adjuster up and down, it goes up and down. And then you've got here a very important thing about all microscopes is your light source or your illuminator. Now the part down here you can see I can turn it around. I've got a little light there because light is very important for a microscope. You can't see something if it's really dark, so you need that light. But most of your simpler microscopes are also going to have a little mirror there so that you can shine light. And if you get it just right, I didn't know how to use this part of a microscope for the longest time. So when you shine light just the right angle, it'll bounce off that mirror up into your sample so you can see through it. Most of the kind of samples that you're going to use in this type of microscope are going to be on what's called a slide. See here, I've got an already prepared slide. It is broad bean leaf. It's a little slice of a broad bean leaf. Now, a slide, when you get it, is first going to start like this. What you have to do is you have to cut a little piece of whatever you want to look at. Usually you want something to be cut so thin that it'll be clear, so that when light shines up through it, you can see it a lot better. But you're going to have a slide like this. You're either going to have to cut a small piece to put it on your slide, or you can use what's called a pipette, and you can suck up your liquid samples and drip them right onto your slide. So these are all very important parts of it. You've got your eyepiece, your lenses, your adjuster, your illuminator, your stage, and slides. Very important. They're going to see we've got these two little arms here on the stage. You slide your slide right there so that when you zoom in and look around, the slide stays right in one place and you can take a look at very small things using that. So what I'm going to do for this video, or for our next video, I'm going to post a video right after this one, and we're actually going to take a look at some things. And though I can't really hook my camera up to this one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use what's called a digital microscope. Now this is just about the same thing. It's pretty simple. The only difference is I can plug it into my computer, and then I can send you guys the video of what we look at, and it'll show up right on a screen. So pretty much the same thing. I've got a little stand here that's basically our arm from the other microscope. I've got a little adjuster slider here. If you look, you can see how my lens moves in and out when I do that. And you'll also notice that I've got some little white spots around the outside. That's my light source. So those are LEDs, they're little lights, and they'll light up whatever we're trying to look at. It can get very bright. So I just snap that right into there. I'm going to use this digital microscope to show you guys some stuff in another video. And we are going to look at a handful of things that you might find around, very simple things around the house, that are going to look really different when we zoom them in. So we're going to take a look at how they look different. Right here I got some pond scum. I know we were talking about when we were going to do the aquarium video. A little bit of aquarium water looked really clear. And I was talking about how if you get to a pond, you'd be amazed at the type of stuff you can see when you get some of that pond water. We're going to take a sample of pond water. I'm going to use my pipette to suck up some of that water and plop her on a slide. We're going to take a look at a penny, really basic, but you might be surprised what you see there. We're going to look at some grow your own crystal kit. A little bit of crystal from a grow your own crystal kit. I think that's going to be really interesting. And we are going to look at a celery leaf under the microscope, see how that looks. And then I want to look at one of these Scholastic, the really papery feeling, not like the magazines that you get that are really smooth. It's kind of the rough paper magazines, because I really like how the ink on these shows up under a microscope. You're going to be astonished because it kind of looks like they painted the ink on here, but you're actually going to find out when we zoom it in that most magazines like this, most comics, are actually a whole bunch of little dots, and we're going to see that really clearly when we zoom in on the microscope. For this week, I also want to give you a challenge, because I'm going to have you guys write notes on this. What I want you guys to do is we have 5 different items that we're going to look at under the microscope. For each of those items, I want you to kind of show me how each one looks different on our scale, what you might call the macro scale. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want you to tell me what these kind of look like on the macro scale. Draw a picture of how they look different between the micro scale and the macro scale. The micro scale is going to be by the microscope. The macro scale is going to be what we see. And then I'm going to give you guys a mystery item. You guys are going to have to figure out what is that mystery item. And anybody who sends me notes and guesses my mystery item correct is not only going to get credit, but they're going to get an extra 5 dojos for guessing my mystery item correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started, and I will post the second video in a moment so you guys can see what these look like all zoomed up with my handy dandy digital microscope. See you guys soon.